Here is something almost no one tells you. Your own body already makes its own version of those expensive weight loss injections everybody is talking about. It is a natural hormone, it lives in your gut, and you can switch it on with food. And I am going to hand you one warm cup, 4 simple ingredients. About a quarter a day that is guaranteed to leave you fuller on far less food, steady your blood sugar, and gently wake up that natural appetite break with no prescription and no needle. You have heard about the new injectable drugs, I will not name the brand, that have people dropping weight fast. They do work, but they are expensive. They come with real side effects, and one of them even carries a warning about thyroid tumors. The thing is, the Japanese figured out a gentler path to the very same place a long, long time ago, and once you see how simple it is, you are going to wonder why no one is talking about it. Stay with me because this one is worth it. I went looking for this after watching the whole injection craze take off. And the answer was hiding in plain sight in the one country that has quietly solved the very problem the rest of us are struggling with. Japan has the lowest obesity rate of any wealthy nation on earth, a small fraction of ours. And it is not because they have superhuman willpower or some lucky gene. They are not lining up for injections. They stay lean and they live longer than almost anyone, on a foundation of green tea, fiber, fermented food, a little turmeric, and one old eating habit I will give you at the end that does more than any pill ever could. Every piece of the drink I am about to show you comes straight out of that world. Spend any real time looking at how the Japanese actually live, and a picture forms. In Okinawa especially, one of the famous blue zones, where people routinely live past 100, sharp and active, the meals are smaller, the plates are smaller, and the food is built around vegetables, fish, fermented things, and tea rather than giant portions of sugar and bread. A traditional Japanese meal is even structured to keep you satisfied on less. A little rice, a bowl of soup, and a few small side dishes served on small plates so that a modest amount of food looks and feels like plenty. They are not starving themselves, and they are not counting anything obsessively. The whole system is quietly designed so that fullness comes easily and naturally. The cup you are about to make is a way to borrow that same effortless fullness, even if the rest of your plate still looks completely American. And here is the thing most of us have completely backward. We have been taught that losing weight is a battle of willpower, eat less, suffer more, white-knuckle your way through the hunger until you finally crack. The Japanese never fought that battle because they learned to work with the body instead of against it. Your appetite is not a character flaw, and it is not the enemy. It is a signal run by hormones down in your gut. Fix the signal, and you are not forcing yourself to eat less. You simply stop wanting as much in the first place. That single shift changes the entire game. And it is the difference between a diet you grit your teeth through for a few weeks and then abandon, and a calm way of eating you can quietly keep for the rest of your life. One fights your own biology every single day. The other finally puts your biology firmly on your side, working for you while you barely have to think about it. Let me explain that signal because it is the key to all of it. Down in your gut, your body makes a hormone called GLP-1. Its whole job is to tell your brain that you are full and to slow your stomach from emptying, so a smaller meal satisfies you and keeps you satisfied far longer. Those famous injections work by flooding your body with a man-made copy of that exact hormone. But here is the part that should genuinely excite you. A growing body of research shows that certain natural foods can coax your gut into making more of its own GLP-1 and gently nudge that same fullness effect without the cost and without the side effects. The Japanese have been feeding that system quietly for centuries, without ever knowing its name. They even have a rule for it, 300 years old, that I will give you at the very end. And there is one more piece of this you need to understand, because it is the real secret hiding underneath the whole thing. A huge part of your GLP-1 is controlled by the bacteria living in your gut. When you feed those bacteria the fiber and the fermented foods they thrive on, they produce special compounds called short-chain fatty acids, and those compounds are one of the main switches that tell your gut to release more GLP-1. In other words, a healthy gut is a natural appetite regulator, built right into you. This is exactly why the Japanese way works so quietly and so well. Their food is absolutely full of the fiber and the fermented foods that keep that inner garden thriving. The drink is the fast way in. Your gut is where it truly takes hold. First, let us build the cup. Ingredient 1, psyllium husk. This is a natural soluble fiber, and it does two things at once. The moment it meets the water in your stomach, it swells into a soft gel that fills you up and takes the edge right off your hunger. So you reach for smaller portions without even trying. But it also does something deeper and cleverer. That fiber travels down into your gut, where your good bacteria ferment it, and that fermentation is one of the very things that signals your body to release more of its own GLP-1. Fiber like this has always sat at the heart of how the Japanese eat. Think of konnyaku, the konjac jelly they have eaten for centuries, a nearly calorie-free fiber prized for exactly this filling, satisfying quality. Psyllium gives you the same gift, straight from your own pantry. One quick but important note: always drink a full glass of water along with psyllium, and start with a small amount because this is powerful, bulking fiber, and your body needs a little time to get used to it. And do not underestimate this humble ingredient of the four. The fiber is doing the most heavy lifting because it works on both ends at once: the immediate fullness you feel in your stomach within minutes, and the slower, deeper signal it sends out through your gut bacteria over the hours that follow. That is two completely different fullness mechanisms from a single spoonful. Ingredient 2, turmeric curcumin. Most people know turmeric as a powerful anti-inflammatory, and it absolutely is. It helps calm the low-grade inflammation that makes stubborn weight even more stubborn, and it helps your body release some of the excess water it has been holding on to. But newer research suggests curcumin can also nudge that same GLP-1 pathway, quietly supporting the fullness signal from another angle. And here is the Japanese connection almost no one hears about. In Okinawa, home to some of the longest living people on the entire planet, turmeric is not a spice you reach for once in a while. They call it yukon, and they drink it as a daily tea. It has been an everyday health staple in those islands for generations. You will find yukon sold in every market in Okinawa, brewed into tea, taken before a big meal or after a night of indulgence. To them, it is not exotic, and it is not some passing trend. It is simply something you take to keep the body running clean, the same way your grandmother might have sworn by a spoonful of something every morning. Ingredient 3, cinnamon. Cinnamon's gift is your blood sugar. It helps your body respond better to insulin and helps soften the sharp blood sugar spikes that follow a meal, and those spikes are a major driver of fat storage, as well as the crash that leaves you ravenous again an hour later. Steady the blood sugar, and you steady the hunger right along with it. A quarter teaspoon is all you need. And there is a hidden bonus here. When your blood sugar stops spiking and crashing, the relentless cravings that ride those crashes start to fade too. So much of what we beat ourselves up about as a lack of willpower is really just blood sugar on a roller coaster. Smooth out the ride, and the cravings that used to ambush you in the afternoon and late at night simply have far less to stand on. Ingredient 4, green tea, and ideally matcha. Green tea carries a remarkable antioxidant called EGCG, and research has linked it both to a gentle rise in GLP-1 and to a real lift in metabolism and fat burning, which is exactly what so many people who feel completely stuck are missing. And there is no more Japanese ingredient on earth. Matcha is simply green tea leaves stone ground into a fine powder, so when you drink it, you are taking in the whole leaf, and a far higher concentration of that EGCG than you would ever get from a steeped bag. The Japanese have been drinking it every day for nearly 1,000 years. If you can get matcha, use it. If you cannot, a strong cup of regular green tea still does the job beautifully. And do not miss the lesson hiding in the ritual itself. The Japanese do not gulp their tea on the run. They have built an entire ceremony around stopping, sitting, and drinking it slowly and with full attention. That unhurried pace is part of why it works. A warm cup, taken slowly before a meal, naturally settles you and slows you down, and slowing down is half the battle with appetite right there. So make your cup a small daily ritual, not just one more thing you swallow standing at the kitchen counter. Now here is how to put it all together. Boil 1 cup of water and make your green tea, or whisk a teaspoon of matcha into it if you have it. Once it is brewed, stir in 1 teaspoon of psyllium husk, half a teaspoon of turmeric, and a quarter teaspoon of cinnamon. Stir it all together and let it sit for a couple of minutes. You will watch it thicken as the psyllium does its work. If it gets too thick for you, just loosen it with a little more warm water. And if you wanted a touch sweet, add a few drops of stevia, the natural sweetener that does not spike your blood sugar the way real sugar does. That is the whole cup, start to finish. And when you drink it matters just as much as what is in it. The best time is about 20 minutes before a meal, so the fullness has time to settle in before you ever sit down to eat, and you will find you are perfectly satisfied with less. Have it before breakfast to carry you smoothly through the morning. Have it before lunch to take the edge off the long afternoon. And if your real struggle is a big, heavy dinner, which it is for so many of us, then that is exactly when to drink it. 1 cup before dinner, so you come to the table already calm and already half full. And here is the habit I promised you. the one that quietly does more than any drink and more than any drug. In Okinawa, before every meal, people remind themselves of a small phrase, hara hachibu. It means eat until you are 80% full and then stop. Not stuffed, not I couldn't possibly eat another bite, just satisfied, with a little room to spare, and it works for a beautiful scientific reason. Your fullness hormone, that very same GLP-1, takes about 20 minutes to travel from your gut to your brain. So if you eat slowly and stop at 80%, by the time the signal finally lands, you feel completely content. The drink and this one habit were practically made for each other. The cup turns up the fullness signal, and hara hachi bu gives that signal the time it needs to be heard. So slow down. Set the fork down between bites, stop a little early, and wait. Then pair it with the way the Japanese actually eat the rest of the day: plenty of vegetables and fiber, fermented foods like miso and natto that feed the very gut bacteria doing all this work for you. Far less sugar, far fewer processed foods, add a little daily movement, even just a walk, and now you have the entire picture, not just one piece of it. It is worth sitting for a moment with why the Japanese plate keeps people so naturally satisfied, because you can borrow every bit of it. Their portions are smaller, but not because anyone is suffering. The food is simply served on small dishes, in several little courses, so a modest amount feels generous and complete. They eat a great deal of vegetables, seaweed, and fish, foods that fill you up for very few calories. They drink tea with the meal instead of sweet soda, and they tend to eat slowly, in good company, paying real attention to the food rather than racing through it in front of a screen. None of that requires a single Japanese grocery. Smaller plates, slower bites, more vegetables, water or tea instead of soda, and a pause before you go back for seconds. Those are changes you can make at your own table tonight, and they multiply everything the cup is doing. And if you want to take the gut piece one step further, add a little fermented food to your day the way the Japanese do: a bowl of miso soup, a spoonful of natto, a side of pickled vegetables, even the plain unsweetened yogurt you may already have in the fridge. These living foods drop friendly bacteria straight into that inner garden we talked about, the very bacteria that help produce your own natural GLP-1. Fiber feeds the garden, fermented foods plant it. Do both, and your gut quietly becomes your steadiest ally in everything you are trying to do. Let me also save you from the mistakes people make with this, because they are easy to avoid once you see them. The first is expecting the cup to do everything while you keep eating the same processed, sugary food. The drink supports your body, but it cannot erase a diet that is working against you. The second is drinking it and then eating in a rush. If you inhale your meal in 8 minutes flat, the fullness signal never has a chance to catch up, no matter what you drank beforehand. The third is skipping the water with your psyllium, or dumping in a giant spoonful. Go gentle, drink your water, and let your body adjust over a few days. And the fourth is treating this like a crash plan. This is a calm, steady, everyday habit the Japanese way, not a punishing sprint. Slow and consistent is precisely what makes it actually last. So why is no one talking about this? By now, you already know the answer. There is no money in a cup of green tea, a spoonful of fiber, and a 300-year-old habit. Nobody can patent turmeric. Nobody is going to run a glossy commercial for hara hachibu. The injection costs hundreds of dollars a month, and this costs about a quarter a day, and only one of those two has an entire industry behind it pushing it on you. The Japanese never needed the injection because they had the kitchen and the wisdom the whole time. And let me set your expectations honestly, because that matters more than any hype. This is not an overnight trick, and you should be glad it is not, because the overnight tricks never last. What you will most likely notice in the first week or two is simpler and far more sustainable than a number dropping on a scale. You are less hungry between meals, your cravings for sugar quiet down, your energy steadies out instead of crashing every afternoon, and you stop finishing meals feeling uncomfortably stuffed. The change in your body follows that, gradually, the way it is actually supposed to, and it does not matter how old you are or how many things you have tried and abandoned before. Your gut and your appetite hormones respond to good food at any age. The day you start feeding them well is the day they start working with you instead of against you. Now, one honest and important note before you start, because I respect you too much to skip it. This is a healthy habit, not a medicine, and it is not a replacement for one. If you are already on a weight loss or diabetes medication, if you have a thyroid or blood sugar condition, or if you are pregnant, please talk with your doctor before you begin, especially because fiber, cinnamon, and these foods can change how some medications and your blood sugar behave. Use this to support a healthy life and a body that feels good, not to chase a number on a scale. So here is your whole plan, simple and clear. Each day, make the 1 cup green tea or matcha, a teaspoon of psyllium, half a teaspoon of turmeric, a quarter teaspoon of cinnamon, and a little stevia if you like, and drink it about 20 minutes before your biggest meal. Eat slowly. Stop at 80%. Lean on vegetables and fermented foods. Ease off the sugar and move your body a little every single day. Give it 3 weeks because that is long enough to truly feel the difference in your hunger, in your energy, and in how your clothes are fitting. Then come down to the comments and tell me how it went and what changes you made in your life alongside it, because I read every single one. Tell me where you are watching from while you are at it. If this helped you, give it a like so more people can find it, and subscribe for more of these old Japanese ways of doing simple things far better. Until next time, take good care of yourself.